Welcome. This is Grammy Queen. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. This is where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile, makes us laugh. Hence, we say the crimson light is live. Okay, so we are having fun with words and numbers. Okay, numerology to be precise. Actualizing soulful love is what we do here. Okay, and we are exploring words that derive particularly from the scriptures that we feel that has really impacted our lives so profoundly, that has either worked for us or worked against us. Of course, we are the ones to know how it has impacted our lives, or we are the ones to make the choices of how it impacts on our lives. So this is my has become my passion hobby or whatever. It's just become one of my interests because I feel that the scriptures had a profound impact on my upbringing, on how I think, on how I see the world, and even now. But of course, that has not always been in the way it is right now because I am discovering much more about myself and about the scriptures and seeing how the two are intertwined in any way. I hope that's perhaps the sort of interest you have as well. So if you are interested in this subject, for instance, please feel free to leave your comments, like, subscribe, and share. Okay, so we are looking at created. Now, I have done four presentations on created, and I had been meaning to take in consideration the date of today, which is all these ones. Of course, this is a 1 year as well. The year, if we, okay, in case you're new to this, I better do this. 2017, when we add 2017 together, this is 8 and 2, 10. So 10 we say is 1. Okay, so we have 1, 1, 1, and this equals 4. Now, of course, there's a dot here and a dot here. We see the 11 is in the middle. So there's this kind of harmony in the middle here. Now, I hadn't planned it like that, but it so happens that the word created happens to be a master number, which is 11. 11 right here. And it would seem like as a master number, there's togetherness, of course, coming here. If we add 1 and 1 together, let's take off this. 1 plus 1 would be 2, right here. And so we have, okay. And so we see how that has come together. Now, I've also done the numerical value for the word for. I like the word for because it encapsulates, as an emphasis on encapsulates, it encapsulates the magic number. Of course, when we add it together, it equals 24. 2 plus 4 is 6, but it encapsulates. I hope you can see that. Now, that tells me that 639, which is not in the same order as we have on here, like 6. Oh, we are missing a 3 here. Like 369, 369, 369. It's not in the same order, but it tells me that we are close. It tells me that it is important that we pay attention to these numbers. Or when we add them all up together, 639, that would be 18. 1 plus 8, meaning there is an emphasis to pay attention from numbers from 1 to 8 on the sacrifice template. So the word hour here is like asking, it beckons our attention from 1 to 8 in particular here. Because once we have gone to headquarters zone, HQZ, headquarters zone, this is where we see, we are able to also see. This is where we go. We have come. It's like our last breath. We exhale and say, I see. It all makes sense. There's an exhale, we exhale there. Um, this is where we see. Um, Although the sea is not like the whole, because it's like a broken whole here. So, but we'd have no choice than to really both that newness, because once we see something, it beckons our attention to act, to act. Oh, there's another word. How come I hadn't had that on here? The word act, because we have a compilation of words that we extract from the word created. But there's a nice word, act. Nothing happens until we act, or we have acted. Act and acted. So that's a beautiful word. And we have reacted. So we are looking at 11. As I say, the master number. Oh, I was on 4 as well. Okay, let's consolidate 4. So we have the OUR, and there's a something we see here. It's as if the O is, there's a message. It's like showing the wholeness which we have seen as if it was Eve. It's a mouth. The mouth is whole, although it has the 6 vibration, but it also falls. It also falls under the 5 here. So we have the 6 here. We have 6. Okay. I have to rewrite this. Okay. So we have 6 here, but it falls in that column. We can see the whole. This is what it's asking for. Now, of course, the line of what had been eaten in the mouth seemed to be that thing with the twist that has distorted mankind, and this is where Eve gotten the blame for eating of the fruit. Eve is responsible for the sin that had been created, but until or unless we find a form of resolution to understand, this is why I am doing these presentations now, to understand the significance of seeing this ourselves in that of Mother Eve, in this wholeness. It's like a mother giving birth to a child, and the child grows up, and there's a moment where the child is ashamed of the mother, not really wanting her friends to know, oh, well, my mom is not, because the teenage days where the teenager thinks that they know everything, they know style, they know how to pronounce the words, the new words that have really been on the trend, and they say, oh, not like this, or the mother is not as does not seem as literate as they think, so they are correcting everything mother says, and perhaps it's so as well, but they have not taken into consideration that mother really knows so much more than they could ever even imagine. She also knows how to birth them. She knows how to clean them, how to feed them, how to clothe them, how to comb their hair. And she knows how to give unconditional love, which nothing really beats that. But there comes that time where child is not really aware and receptive of that which is being offered, because there is something pulling their attention on the external, the out, the television, the trends, the trendy outfit, the trainers, the friends, that the hairstyles, the fake eyelashes, the fingernails, the slangs, and all of those things are pulling their attention in the environment, and so they have come to not realize the true essence of mother for a while. And so, of course, this is contrast. So perhaps one day they will get to understand, because now they have contrast. But until they come to bring this contrast into a sense of oneness, into having the left and the right hand together this way, meaning the five fingers and the nine, which the hand in numerical value is nine, coming together or doing something together, meaning beginning and end, the five fingers and the hand meaning one, that oneness, that sense of togetherness, until the individual comes to that place of acceptance, they will not find that inner peace within themselves. That is part of that. The two are intertwined, because mother, in that sense, is mirroring child. But that is the trophy. I was going to say the trophy, because it feels it like a trophy when one has accepted that. Perhaps it's the best trophy one can get. Perhaps it's the best trophy one can really achieve. It feels like that to me. And although I had what seemed like a good enough relationship with my mother, this understanding that I now get is what has really been the gel of, even though she has passed on to other realms, this has brought me to a place of resolution at a deeper level within me. So much so that I can now understand that I can be, or I am Eve, that I have the capacity to love unconditionally. I understand at a deeper level, even though I had my son and I knew I love him unconditionally, but that level of love would now appear limited to what I now have cultivated. I love that. Okay, so there we are. I'm talking about Mother Eve created number 639. So yes, so I'm saying all this to get my mind back on track to where I was at with 639. So the hour here, which reminds me that when God, Christ, had said to his disciples, when you pray, this is how you pray: Our Father. The very first word would be our, which when added together would give us 9. Now, 9 also is the number that denotes beginning. It's as if we are recognizing that beginning. And in that beginning, we are also recognizing Eve, because Eve is in the middle of beginning. And it's no wonder in the scriptures we read that God said, and God, and Adam named his wife Eve because she is the mother of all living. All living. There is no exception about she's the mother of you or I, or the tree, or not the bird. She is the mother of all living, meaning she is waters. Everything came out of Eve. And that is why I am feeling an earnest to really express this, to really express the importance of finding resolution with this biblical story, that we can also find resolution within ourselves and within the relationship we have with our mothers in particular. Of course, our fathers just as much, but we learn that in the scriptures, Eve was the one who got the blame. And this is the thing we have been living, we have been existing on a menu of blame. We have been eating and partaking, regurgitating blame. And that is the essence of what we really need to be moving away from, taking responsibility for the action that we need to apply into discovering the meaning of created. When we look at the word created here, for instance, and how our world has shaped us, we could see how from the word that which is digestible, that which is palatable, of course, through the act of eating of the red apple, everything. This is where, of course, the story has been so connected with all existence from the womb. From the womb, we have our fingers, we see the pictures of babies in the womb, the hand to the mouth. So there we have, going back to the word I-N, the, the first word of the Bible, which is I-N. Let's do that in contrast. So I-N, for instance, is 9 and 5. And when we add this together, it's 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So this is where we see that Mother Eve, everything comes down to whether it was beginning and end, you add it together, everything sums up to Mother Eve. Everything sums up to Christ's spirit, the spirit of Christ. Everything sums up to the vine, the vine. Everything sums up to the waters. Everything sums up to what the word made and when God made. And I have a list. I have recalled this list, and I'm just going to, when God moved, that equals 5, because the water is what moves. When a mother bears a child and there's the water in the womb, the water, the child is moving. This is what God said, and let the waters bring forth great creature. Great creature. There would be a great creature in the womb that would have to gush out some massive breaking of waters. Breaking of waters, that reminds, okay, yes. And so, and delivering this creature. So there we have the word moved, the word vine. Of course, there is a vine because everything seemed to come into existence methodically or in order. There is a sort of order, and we see that order was at play where God gave Noah the instructions of how to take the creatures and his people into the ark. So there was order. And so when a woman is with child and she's ready to confine, oh, there's the water breaks. There's the water, that's the word we use. That's the word that's used. It breaks. And so with the word break, which also reminds me of grieve, is another word that comes in very close. And of course, we know this is when a mother is required to breathe and learn all the technique of breathing properly when she's ready to deliver that child. So not, and the word breathe also equals 5. This is another thing. So we see how, of course, the oxygen that we breathe and oxygen in the water. So we could see how all those things, it'd be interesting to do a numerical value on oxygen, which I think I have done, but we see how all those things are really part and one of this and the same. So if Christ breathed waters, mouth, which is what was used to eat the fruit, finger, of course, to hold, finger equals 5. The word perseverance, I thought that was very interesting. The word perseverance equals 5. And this is really interesting because that word explains exactly what happens in the process of creation. We say, oh, mothers, we don't, we don't, we don't associate the word created a baby with the mother. We don't associate that with Eve or a mother. But that's what it is. There is perseverance. There is joy. The word joy also equals 5. There is stars equals 5 because, of course, there is stars in the eyes of the child. When mother and child are interacting eye to eye, it's the most beautiful thing one can experience, or even not child to child. We see in motion, the word motion, of course, moved and motion, all equals 5. Okay, but the emphasis is on the word create. We see create is 2, meaning that is 11, the first master number, and it equals 2. And we can see, I'm hoping I can continue to show how powerful 2 is. Of course, as I mentioned before, this is what God had instructed Noah to take in the birds 2 by 2 or the animals 2 by 2. So we see the word created had come into play in Noah's Ark. Perhaps it should be Noah's Act, because that's what I am seeing. Yes, the word act, I think really ought to have been act, because everyone is just performing an act. Every story is an act in the scriptures. And there, God was performing his great act from the word created. Okay, let's we are on 23:8, which is another 5 and the 8, if 8, 5 and 8. So I think it is really saying we are in tune here. So we have looked at act, and as I say, the word hour here is we understand now the fullness and the, I won't be using this word lightly anymore. The word hour. And of course, an hour equals 60 minutes, and that would be 6. Of course, when we do the numerical value for the word, we could see 6 here. For the word 9, it also equals 6. So we could see how 9 becomes 6 and 6 becomes 9. Now, this F here as well, which is the Facebook symbol, we can see how it is directly connected to our makeup because we have these 4 points. It is connecting directly onto our north, south, east, and west. That's 4. That is the 4 points, our 4 points. So that's what we are looking at when we look at numbers in numerology and the words and see how they have impacted our lives. See what meaning we can attribute to the words when we are using them. I am hoping that we will become much more mindful of how we use words. And perhaps we could formulate a dictionary that really helps us to focus more on using this to our advantage, in that sense that we can we would have that access readily available to us, but it is within us anyway. It's just that when we are manifesting, we like to be able to see that so within, without. And that's what it's about. Even, I like the word without as well, because we are told about we are the hologram, for instance. And in the first verse or the second verse, when it says, and the earth was without void, it was without form, it was without void. That is without. What about what was within? It did not speak of that. It did not say what was within. It was without void. As far as I understand that, it was without emptiness. No, but I learned it before. It was with emptiness. That's how I was taught. But it says it was without form, without void. That is what was out, but it didn't say what was in. Okay. So we see how that 4 points, let's just make it like this, is really, this is what we are, this 4 here. Our north, our south, our east and west. This is like the point of Jesus Christ's crucifixion. We see the head, the feet were together on one point, and the two arms spread out. So that's our 4. And God, Christ said, when you pray, pray our Father. Here we see that. Okay. So meaning we are 6. It's like asking us to, it's like our voice, our utterance is saying who we are. It's that introduction. It's like I'm saying I am Crimey Queen. So there we are saying our Father. It's like acknowledging the wholeness of who we are. Of course, again, the numerical value for the word whole is 9. And as I say, when we do the numerical value for 9, it's 6. So we are saying wholeness. Okay. Now, these words that I have extracted from the word created, of course, I believe there are more words to this, but I am amazed the amount of words that really entail eat or food, ingestion, that leans. Let's use a contrast. We are on 28 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. So this is eat, ate, okay, and of course, ET, there was something about ET as well with food. We could see that come into being. Why not? We have tea. All this is about food. And the word rate has in it 8. Of course, there are rates for food. Okay. And we have eat here for treat. Well, the whole word treat is really about, it has, when someone treats you, it means to say that all the word treat has a degree of ingestation or palatable. It's someone makes you feel good. They treat you to something or treat you to a meal or treat you to a dress. There is something that activates your senses. And of course, as the senses are all intertwined, there we are. This is food. Of course, the word tread, when you tread on something, tea, hair, and of course we have ea hair. So it has in it tea, et, and reacted. We have dot, Of course, we have art. Of course, food also is a form of art. When we prepare food, it's a form of art. Okay. Tract. And okay, we have art. As we say, it's a form of food. Rat. All the words I have done, including, oh, not sacrifice, but I have done quite a few words, and they all seem to have a rat somewhere. I Perhaps that's why rats are often used in as experiments. Okay, there's always a rat. Okay, there's food. Always a rat. And this rat is looks quite safe. Okay. And reacted, of course, also has a, okay, et. Okay. All right. So I am amazed to see the amount of words that we have got here that has something to do with food. And this is why I am believing that food and drink has been used um, as rituals to anchor a, a belief, like even with the Last Supper, for instance, but food and drink has been used so profoundly or so commonly or as a form of anchoring. Okay, so I feel that we have more to explore on this. As we say, it also is um, 11, but there's another thing that I would like to conclude on this is that, as I say, we have also been given the spirit of sound, and which is round and ground. Everything, of course, has that circle effect. Uh, Yes. So because we have been dealing with four and we have done this, I just want to wrap up the significance or the symbol of this 11 as well, because it's like a 7-11. We know this whole teaching derives from the sacrifice template, and which is around Jesus Christ, the sacrifice of Jesus Christ around the Last Supper. That was how that evolved. I felt I would do a presentation on how this all came about around Easter time and around the sacrifice of Christ. And having said sacrifice, there's 33 on the screen. And then I realized that the significance of where Christ broke of the bread and shared of the bread and the wine, that has been used, this has been used as a form of anchoring. It's a ritual because he said it denotes whenever you do this, remember me. How often it was meant to be done, I am not sure, but it is also insightful of the fact that it's requiring to be performed regularly or several times, and so or it was necessary to do it several times. So do this, remember me. And of course, what happens when we remember someone? That person, whatever that part of them or the energy that is part of who we are becomes activated. We are hinging on that energy. We are hinging on the person's energy. That it was clear saying, when you eat of the bread, it is my flesh. So you are eating this thing and you are assimilating the essence of Christ's flesh with your flesh. You are drinking of the wine and you assimilating, or should we say blending, or coming together, that the essence of the wine with your blood. And no wonder wine is such an intoxicating thing, even non-alcoholic. But it's that it can be an addictive intake. This is what I'm trying to say. Well, for me, it could be. Yes. And so I believe that that gives us something, and it's no wonder we are required to understand that when perhaps it is necessary, not perhaps, it is necessary that we look at this act of ingestion, of eating and drinking, and seeing how it has impact or what impact it takes on our bodies, not our minds, more importantly, our thinking, our thoughts, and our words. So I leave you with this. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this fun. If you like this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a filled, be ignited, because we are planting new seeds, and spill over with love.